When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
We want to let Donald Trump know that he cannot divide us with his racism, sexism, all that bigotry.
Chaos, confusion, and anger growing in the wake of President Trump's immigration ban.
I haven't felt safe in years, and I voted on Trump mostly because of his stance on immigration.
And it is here that criminal aliens and the document forgers seek to overthrow our lawful system of immigration.
We will not turn away families.
We will not turn away families. Go back.
A weekend of protests over President Trump's immigration crackdown.
Fight back. Fight back.
But this group who voted for President Trump all agree on this.
He's trying to keep us safe.
I think the divide is causing a lot more fear and hatred and really ugly things, but it's also emboldening all of us to step up in our activism, to step into our role to make a more fair country for everybody.
I'm originally from Mexico. I came to the US when I was 7 years old. I've always avoided immigration because of my background, what I've gone through. But now I come to realize that I have to do something about it.
I'm not powerless in this situation. I am an immigration lawyer. So why not go across the country and help where we could?
Welcome.
Welcome to our house. Ta-da! This is the Immigration Nation van. This is where the magic happens.
What magic?
Immigration Nation is an on-demand mobile legal clinic for immigrants and their communities in the wake of the 2016 US presidential election. That sounds a lot fancier than it is. It's actually me and Martina driving around the country in a van, helping as we can.
This is like the kitchen area. We keep a lot of different things in here. So we have our libraries. Reading on the road is super important. We have books about undocumented and then just, interesting books that are around. We've been to areas where there's one lawyer for 17 counties and people have never spoken to a lawyer before. We've met with people that just arrived to the United States months ago and people who have been here literally since the 80s. And, the unifying piece of it all is our unfair immigration system. If you end up in deportation proceedings, you can ask the judge for something called cancellation of removal.
Si usted termina en el proceso de deportación, usted puede pedirle al juez que le dé algo que se llama cancellation of removal.
Cancellation of removal is for people who have been in the United States for 10 years. Part of our Know Your Rights workshops are really like, how do you advocate for yourself? What are resources that you need? You really do see how they're like these lawyer deserts and how they're areas where people are trying to figure things out themselves, but the laws are so complicated. So it's a scary time now, and we know what we would do if bad things happened, but nobody can take away the fact that she's your mother. And there's no law that can ever be passed by anybody that can take that away. Yeah. Thank you for making the sandwiches, Martina. Martina and I met in 2010. She actually was one of my first ever clients, and our relationship has really evolved over the years.
I was trying to fix my immigration status, and we did a consultation where she just asked me a few personal questions.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I was the victim of a hate crime and being bullied at school because of my accent, the way I dress. There was this girl that just kept on making racial comments at me and telling me that she was gonna hit me, that she was going to make sure that I was sent back to Mexico. And her friend just started hitting me up to the point that I was just unconscious. And that's the first time I've ever felt like comfortable enough with someone that's not from my community.
I got to see the sunrise a little. That was pretty. And away we go. Oh my God, I've really got to get to bed earlier. If you do find out that somebody's undocumented, you are going to keep that information confidential. So that means that if you are a doctor and you know that somebody's undocumented, you're not going to call ICE and report them. We do ally trainings, realizing that there was a lot of misinformation that was out there about immigration, even for the most well-meaning allies. And so wanting to not only educate people about what was going on, to give them facts that they could use to hopefully persuade other people, but then really get into the nitty-gritty of we are a part of this nation that has unfortunately been made really unsafe for immigrants right now, and it's a really scary place. So how do we combat that? How do I be a better ally for those communities? So guess what it's time for? Bystander intervention training! Yay! Who wants to learn what to do if you see a hate crime happening? 3 people. You all get buttons. Okay.
Since the election, intimidation and harassment has grown dramatically nationwide.
They're harassing Latinos, Muslims.
More than 400 incidents reported in the last week. How the country can overcome our racial divisions.
I see this kind of like a blessing in disguise, because I'm hoping that this is gonna unite our communities.
Being in a van, driving across America and trying to create this change has been really inspiring. I continue to just have hope in this country's ability to continue to fight for what I think is right. And so seeing the country and reclaiming those roads in that way has been really great. I can tell that you're waiting. Can you tell that I'm waiting too? Baby, I'm waiting for you. Martina doesn't like singing with me. Got so you're lonely. Can you tell that I'm lonely too? It's sad but true. You know the words of this one. Won't you take you home and lay you down upon my little bed? I'm driving us back to Lisa's. Oh no, I got it wrong. Oh yes. Ready?